In today's video, we're going to be talking about some very scary stuff here on a glorious, happy Wednesday to every single person out here. Yeah, we got a lot of fears back in the broader market right now. Even though that the major indexes are pretty much at all-time highs, there are looming fears. So we're going to be talking about some fearful stuff. Going to be talking about how the new Fed governor coming on deck, Kevin Walsh, pretty much just passed the Senate. We got some data that came out today, some inflation data, which really wasn't the best in the sense it's raging hot. We are going to be talking about SoFi in today's video. We're going to be talking a little bit about AMD. I'm going to be going over a little bit of my public profile here on this YouTube channel for you all. Trying to keep this video under 20 minutes here for today. If you enjoy my content, as always, smash the like button, entirely free. If you want to see more of me, subscribe, entirely free as well. I tend to put out videos on this YouTube channel Monday through Friday. Might drop some bonus material on Saturdays. I was doing Monday through Saturday, but to be honest, my schedule has been kind of really busy over the weekends, the last couple weeks, but I may start dropping a bonus video on Saturdays or maybe even Friday evenings. Otherwise, this YouTube channel is still relatively new, so if you are a stock-loving guru and a SoFi-loving baboon like me, definitely let me know down below in the comment section. And I'm going to be advertising this YouTube channel among my other YouTube channels, Nightmare RH primarily on YouTube, 200,000 plus subscribers. So we're going to be getting a lot of new stock-loving market people, hopefully relatively soon, right? Oh yes, and that advertisement among other channels of mine, probably going to have a hard date sometime next week. I'm just kind of really thinking about when I kind of, really want to do it and how I want to do it necessarily. So I'll keep you all up to date. But if you are a daily viewer of mine, understand that we're probably going to be getting a flood of new people relatively soon. Hopefully, right? Okay, so the Senate confirmed our new Fed governor coming on deck, who I believe is very bullish for the market, even though people are screaming and ranting and raving, saying this guy is a hawk. And he's going to potentially raise rates because of inflation. Inflation caused by the Iran war currently going on, caused by oil, which is ticking above $100 a barrel once again. And understand that when oil prices go up in value, it affects everything. Yes, it affects the everyday, average person that goes and fill up their cars with gasoline, but understand that factories get affected because now that factories, they have to pay more head costs. It affects everything. Transportation, truck drivers that pretty much run America. Just every single thing is affected by oil. So if you want to cause a recession within your economy, having oil surging to levels that it has not been in many, many years, well, that's one way to cause a recession. So I personally believe that Iran is going to be wrapped up relatively soon, even though we are getting headlines saying that things could be very much going the opposite direction. Who really knows? But the one thing that I know is that Donald Trump has midterms coming up this year, and he is going to get thrown under the bus like you can't imagine by his own party if this continues into midterms and also affects midterms. Now, on the flip side, maybe he really doesn't care about midterms. Or on the other hand, maybe he's setting us up for a gigantic summer rally into midterms. However, I personally believe that the Iran war conflict, whatever you want to call it, is going to be wrapped up very soon. And we're going to see oil basically pretty much dumping like crazy. Maybe overnight go from the high 90s, hundreds, to as well as maybe 80s into the high 70s. Just a surge downward as soon as news is basically announced saying, hey, we have a clear deal. Every single thing that the U.S. side wants to pretty much have, Iran is agreeing, and everything is, hunky-dory, right? And there's not going to be another conflict anytime, or there's not going to be, hopefully, another conflict, never. Now, how does Kevin Walsh really fit into this? Well, if you've been following along a lot of news events, which I totally understand, a lot of people don't like following political stuff, but when you're in the stock market, you got to be following stuff that you don't agree with, and you got to be watching stuff that you know is just really bullshit. Okay, I really can't stand politics. I don't really have patience for anything politics anymore in my life. The Democrats and Republicans have both really screwed over average voters, average people in America. Including myself. I'm a retail shareholder and just an average Joe. And yeah, I mean, both sides, what we have in DC is nothing more than just one political party, but it's a unisex party. There's, you're either on the left or the right. It's unbelievable. Both parties, in my opinion, equally suck. Actually, that's not really an opinion. That's pretty much factual. Both of them screw over people. You gotta go ahead and watch it, especially understand how it can affect your investments and trades in the market. Okay, if you're buying a stock for the future, such as SoFi, well, buying SoFi right now is a phenomenal deal. You're talking down from all-time highs, well beyond 50, 60, 70%. Why is that? Well, it's because geopolitical nonsense played into a massive dump on SoFi because of all inflation fears around tariffs, inflation fears around Iran that we're currently seeing. Yeah, I mean, rate cuts have been destroyed in the market. But what I personally believe is going to happen, and if I'm totally wrong, I really don't care because I'm already set up for my positions, and I'm really just adding shares right now to any of my positions that I want to add to, primarily SoFi. And also Robinhood too, I've been adding to as well. And I also have stock positions that I am looking at potentially getting in. I just actually sold out of a position of mine a couple days ago, Oracle, and I wasn't even finished building that position. It's utterly crazy. But hey, in a blink of an eye, one of your stocks could very well take off. Hims and Celsius are two very much retail-loving stocks that have been decimated, destroyed. So I am looking at Hims and Celsius, definitely. Obviously a different market than obviously semis in a fintech and big tech market. But there's a lot of money to be made, especially when there's a lot of good vibes in the market. But right now, overall, the stock market is primarily, if you are in the industry that is benefiting, you're doing great. If you're not in that industry, you could very well be down tremendously. SoFi is down tremendously in the banking sector because the banking sector is fearful of rate hikes. AMD, the semis, are rock and rolling. Software, Adobe, Palantir, ServiceNow, Salesforce, Microsoft, you're feeling pain. And then you go on to a crypto-backed company such as Robinhood, a very risk-on company, a gambling company. It's I got to say that lightly. I am very bullish on Robinhood. I'm not bashing them, but they are a risk-on company. When the market is risk-on, Robinhood is going to outperform so greatly. Right now, the market, is not there with crypto. Obviously, crypto is recovering, but crypto really needs to hold above the low 80s. The fact that we're going above 80, below 80, above 80, we need to stay above 80,000. Pretty much we have stayed above $70,000 now for well over a month. So we need to stay above 80,000 for well over a month now. But going back to what I was saying, I personally believe that Kevin Walsh is going to be bullish. Why is that? Because the guy truly feels that AI is going to be deflationary, okay? It's going to make the Federal Reserve print more money. And then also on the flip side of things, if inflation is going down, what is the need to keep interest rates either where they are, above the Fed's fund rate, or potentially even thinking about rate hikes. On the other side, too, Donald Trump has pretty much said repeatedly that he wants interest rates lower to unfreeze the housing market. The housing market is currently frozen in America. Okay, not a lot of people are really moving. You can look at building companies, publicly traded building companies, they are down big. Interest rates need to drop another good basis point to really unfreeze the market for people to move, people to sell and move their home, people to relocate and go from having a low interest rate on a mortgage to a semi-moderate interest rate. No one's going to move if they have a 3% interest rate and now they got to get a 6% interest rate. Maybe we get rates down to 5%. That's going to be incentive enough for people to move, but the housing market overall is frozen. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for Donald Trump to pick a hawk. What do I personally see that's going to end up happening? I see the Iran war is going to be over. I see oil is going to plummet. And I see that Kevin Walsh is going to come out once he fully gets into his Fed chair very soon. And he's going to be saying, hey, look, tariffs was a temporary inflation. We saw that. Now we're seeing inflation caused by Iran. So therefore, once Iran is over, because today we just got new data around PPI, another inflation report, and you're talking yesterday for CPI was a surge in inflation. Now you're talking about PPI is also a surge in inflation too. Things are not looking very well. But we have the Iran war pretty much being concluded, and Kevin Walsh is basically saying, hey, look, like, this is going to be a temporary thing that we have. We can maybe give a basis point, a tiny rate cut, or resume rate cutting at the end of the year. Now, if you actually look at the chances of a rate cut, they are pretty much non-existent. But understand that if you've been following me and watching my videos as far back as October and November of last year, we were not supposed to be getting a rate cut back in December. And guess what ended up happening? We got a rate cut in December. I remember making videos on this, and I talked about this a lot. Right now, for the 17 June meeting, we have a 1.5% chance of a rate cut. That is, us getting a rate cut in June is pretty much non-existent at this point, unless something drastic happens, but more than likely we're not going to be getting a rate cut, okay? So the Federal Reserve is going to be holding rates steady for the next upcoming meeting. This is going to be the first Kevin Walsh's meeting. But everyone's going to be looking at this meeting to see what the guy is projecting for the future. The stock market likes to really price stuff in. So we're going to be looking at the 29 July meeting. Obviously, 29 July meeting, right now the market sees nothing. September, this is where stuff gets interesting. Now the market is pricing in a rate hike at the end of the year. And now we even price in like multiple rate hikes by the end of the year. Once again, this is all driven by algos. This is not set in stone. Back in November of last year, during the government shutdown, I was making videos and I was buying tens and tens of thousands of dollars of stock publicly on this YouTube channel. You can go back and watch my videos. And the thing about it is that, hey, Powell cut rates in December when the probabilities was super low. So all this bullshit is just, it's algos, and it's designed to scare people. This is nothing more than a phenomenal buying opportunity in the market. This is my YouTube public profile here. I made this profile dedicated to this YouTube channel. I'm doing a fun little risk-on challenge publicly, taking this sum of money to 6 figures in the course of 17 months. Account challenge started officially 2 January this year, and I basically have a whole bunch of rules, fun rules of how much I can deposit and buy at one time. I've deposited tens and tens of thousands of dollars into this account over the last several months, and I've been buying stock left and right. My positions are built. AMD a couple months ago was down by 10%. Can you believe that shit? Yeah, AMD was down by 10%. Now you have people willing to pay $440 for AMD. I was buying AMD at 190, 200, 210, 220. I think I got some shares at like 230 on this account. Was the highest of my buys. But I mean, forget about it. Like personally, I've been buying AMD since Liberation Day last year on my private account. My AMD position is massive as well, and my average is much lower than this because I have shares that I bought of AMD when it was in the 80s, 90s, 100s, moderate 100s. Like this is what you do to make money, okay? Everyone is screaming, everyone is raving, and you just got to stick to your game plan. My SoFi position on this account and also my private account, it's built. Total shares that I'm holding of SoFi. Hold on, I gotta get a handy dandy calculator. Hold on one second. Hold on. 1642 plus 587. I may actually buy some more SoFi shares either today or tomorrow. 2,229 total shares of SoFi. My SoFi position is built. I don't personally want to become too over leveraged to SoFi at all. Robinhood too. And by the way, I do get asked this often, do I buy the same stock on here and also on my private account? The answer is yes, I do. Just in bigger quantities pretty much. But overall, my hood position, I could very well be adding more to that. My Adobe position, I very well feel good on. Palantir, I'm going to probably start adding to. Like this is bullshit for Palantir. Palantir is a buy. Okay, Palantir has gotten way too much they were at $200 and $210, whatever all-time high was, but now they have the earnings and the revenue growth to back their current state of level. Palantir right now is a friggin' buy. Okay, Meta, you can definitely argue, even though my argument for Meta has been really scaling out to put into other positions. Even PayPal is a buy right now. ServiceNow is a buy. I bought ServiceNow and I bought SoFi on Monday. Ended up closing out my Oracle position, and I ended up putting the rest of the money into ServiceNow and also SoFi. But I'm going to continue buying ServiceNow, definitely. But I will say this for everyone listening and watching. Understand that when you're in these type of stocks that revolve so much around geopolitical stuff, but their earnings are freaking amazing. We are not in a 2022 cycle. We're in a bull market that's being suppressed by geopolitical events. When you're in a bull market that's being suppressed, you buy shares left and right. Okay, I'm not a financial advisor, but the way that I've made life-changing money by being in the market for the last over 6 years now, and I've also been in the market for over 6 years. I haven't left the market. You buy every single scary instance. And sure, I mean, SoFi's could be a little scary right now. Ooh, rate hikes, right? Even though SoFi was growing in a high interest rate environment, right? Then you have Robinhood. Ooh, their earnings, isn't, going insanely high anymore because of Bitcoin and people aren't taking that much risk. Adobe. Ooh, Adobe's just going to go away entirely because AI is replacing all software. I use Adobe products every friggin' day. I love Adobe. Palantir, obviously I don't use Palantir's products, but I mean, the company is a legendary company. Meta, I use Meta every single day. PayPal, I have a business PayPal account. I'm a small business owner. ServiceNow, never use their products, but they're a phenomenal company. So, on a closing note to today's video, understand that we're in a suppressed bull market. If we do get rate hikes, well, obviously, you got the leadership of the country to really blame for that. We do. We have the leadership of the country. And honestly, they're going to be blamed. They're going to be blamed at midterms. They're going to be blamed probably, maybe even as much as 2028 election. But understand that if we start getting rate hikes, obviously things have really messed up in the overall economy and also market. I don't see that being the case. But I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, hey, I'll just continue working hard and just continue buying stock. So stay motivated. On a closing note, if you enjoyed today's episode, definitely smash the like button. And we have a lot of stuff to really continue covering as we, get closer and closer to 17 June. Federal Reserve meeting is going to be huge, but we're going to be getting a lot of press meetings, especially when the new Fed governor is pretty much talking a lot more. And keep this Middle Eastern stuff, in good prayers, hopefully ending soon, because as soon as this stuff ends, boom, this account could very well go above $50,000 like that. SoFi could very well run to $25 in a snap of fingers. You don't believe me? SoFi's done it before. SoFi went from below $10 to over $30 very quickly. Okay, so understand that SoFi and Hood, they are momentum plays. And if you're a right investor, which means you're buying the fear, you got nothing to worry about. Okay, enough rambling on. See you all tomorrow. Later.